What's going on? This is Lauren with TMF Apparel, and tonight I want to talk about a couple things. Things that are current events, things that are hot topics, things that aren't exactly the most, we'll say, I don't know, it's not the happiest. It's not the happiest stuff, but we need to talk about it because I feel like we all too soon forget. I feel like a lot of people out here just kind of go on the roller coaster ride of emotion and then we just forget. And that's unfortunate until something else happens and then we bring it back up. I feel like a lot of things are just going unfinished. So, and I guess what triggered that, I was going to make a video here about this and then I had to stop and reset. I really did. I stopped and I said, all right, we're just going to change this. So let me grab up the window here. Right. So 3 men indicted on hate crime and kidnapping charged in connection to Ahmaud Arbery's death, federal prosecutors say. Right. So it's sad that it took a year to get here. It is. It's sad. And we forget about it. I mean, I'm not going to say the world, everyone forgot about it, but most people have moved on from Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery was before George Floyd. He was before everyone else. He was, I think, the first one of the year that really got media attention of someone dying really unjustly. Now, it wasn't at the hands of a cop. I understand that. But should the George Floyd have taken over this? Should anyone's death really take over and just we just forget about it? So these guys are getting charged with a hate crime. They really didn't get charged with anything that great. I mean, look, in separate state proceedings, Gregory and Travis McMichael pleaded not guilty to malice and felony murder charges. They still haven't faced trial. No trial date has been set in over a year. What are we waiting on? What could we be waiting? What evidence could we be waiting on? It was recorded on video. We have all the evidence. There's no one that's just going to show up and change everything. In fact, the longer it takes, the harder it's got to be to prove this because, man, you don't remember this stuff. But I bring this up only because there's a slew of deaths happening. There's just a slew of them, man. It's like every day now. And I get it. When Trump was in office, people really hated on Trump. Like, they hated on Trump. They want police reform. Things got to change, especially the Democrat side. Everything's got to change. We got to, we need less funding. We need less police. We need to send social workers out there. We have to do all of this stuff. And yet, here we are. We are 100 days in, and there's been like at least half a dozen police deaths or police killing people unjustly. I mean, I'm not going to say that all of them are unjust. They haven't been tried. Everyone is, innocent until proven guilty. We'll go with. That's the way that we should perceive some of this stuff. We shouldn't take to social justice and come out here and, trial by fire. We do have, of course, for a reason, even though it may be flawed. I'm going to say that. But then there's this, and I got to find, I don't know if they have a video of this. I'm going to read through this real quick, and I want to come right back. All right, so I just had a quick minute to read this over. And the man in question here is Mario Gonzalez. That is the man's name. He just died recently, looks like April 19th. So he died from police kneeling on him. Well, we'll say they kneeled on him, right? They held him down, face down on the ground for 5 minutes. Now, he was largely trying to resist them, and they kept him on the ground. It resembles what happened to Floyd in a way, because you had a bunch of cops holding him down. It's on a body cam footage. It's out there. I'm not going to play it, but they pleaded with him to stop fighting. This is a big boy. He's 250 pounds. Floyd was a big boy. But he was trying to lift him up, trying to get back down, and eventually he just passed out and he died. Now they did try to resuscitate him. It looks like the officer says, We got no weight on his chest, question mark, then repeats, no, no, wait, no, wait. He's going unresponsive. They rolled him over, tried to resuscitate him doing chest compressions, asked him to wake up. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. So why does this keep happening? Like, this is my take on it. On a lot of these deaths are, well, they are unnecessary. It's almost like, I'm just gonna get, man, look, people are gonna leave me bad comments for this, but it's almost like they shouldn't use unnecessary force, and also people shouldn't do the things they do. So in some cases, now this, like I said, I don't get on here and be like, whatever you guys want to say about it. Like, I'm not pro cop getting on people, but and they just need to handle certain situations better. Clearly, they at least tried to help this guy once they realized that he was out, you know. But why did it take so long to get there? We're having a hard time detaining people, Pierce, safely detaining people. So what's the answer? Is the answer police? Is the answer equipment related? Like, do we need to produce something? The tasers clearly are not effective enough, right? I've seen plenty of videos of people getting tased and just freaking hulking out and unaffected by tasers. And I've also seen a lot of non-lethal videos of, I guess, prototype equipment that, wraps them up, ties them up, whatever. Some way to subdue a person. Like, why are we still succumbing to this? Why are we roll this dude over, handcuff him, put him on his back? But it's hard to move when your hands behind your back, laying on your back, especially if you're 250 pounds. Maybe if you're inebriated or you're not, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And then we have over here Anthony Brown shooting, needing, police body cam footage from this. So there's two more shootings. There's Anthony Brown, and then there was another. I think it was Isiah Brown. I was looking at it last night, and I just didn't get around to doing a video on it. Those were two very different situations, right? So you got one who was in the car, hands on the wheel, and the car's stationary, and for some reason, they shot at this car. Like, it says the car then stopped and again reversed. As it backed up, it makes contact with law enforcement. The car was again stationary with deputies positioned around the car. When it began moving forward in the direction of law enforcement and makes contact with law enforcement, then shots were fired. So they're saying that is a stark contrast to what the family's account of what happened, which is they just surrounded this car and lit it up. Right? We weren't there. But it does seem like, all right, so you're a cop, right? And you're serving a warrant or whatever. Bump that. You don't need the warrant. You're a cop and you are approaching a person whom you are inclined to arrest, warrant or not. And let's go both sides of the coin, right? You show up. This guy looks like he's going to run. You let him just go. Just get out the way. Let him go. Maybe pursue him down the street. And, someone else gets hurt. Or you just let him go. Catch him another time. He got away. Like, what did he do? What do we need? What did he do? What's a level of risk, acceptable risk, to go after somebody like this that could end in death of that person, yourself, or people around you? What's the crime that accepts that risk? Secondly, let's say this guy was in his car and he was trying to leave and the cops are behind the car and he makes contact. Because if he's trying to run him over, do you light him up? Is it okay to light him up? Is he trying to harm you? Is that the same thing as if, like, someone just comes to your house and tries to drive their car through your freaking kitchen. Can you light them up? It's interesting because we have to come up with a better like resolution to this, because clearly it's not all cops bad, but we're also, as a society, some parts of our society are putting cops in these situations way too often. Way too often. Why do we have so many cops put in these situations all the time where they feel like their life is in danger, and all the time there is it's me or you every day? Why are we doing that as a society of people? I'm curious as to why that's happening. So the other one, I want to say it was Isaiah Brown. I could be wrong. It was definitely a Brown. Last name was Brown. I remember reading it last night, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But the other one, when I read it, and I don't want to botch this. I wish I could find the article. I'm gonna pause this and see if I can find it. All right, so it was Isaiah Brown. I just spelled Isaiah differently, aka wrong. So he was shot. He's in critical condition, shot 10 times by police, and he called 911, which is different, right? His was different. Situation is touch and go. I mean, the guy that, first of all, the other one, Andrew Brown, apparently took some shots to the arm, one to the back of the head. Could have been a ricochet. Could have went straight for him. Honestly, if you're just fired into a car blindly, it's probably just the luck of the draw at that point. He just turned over. He just rolled the wrong dice that day, made some bad decisions, and that everyone made decisions that changed their lives forever. So, yeah, the doctors informed on Isaiah Brown that he had 10 bullets inside of him. That's a lot of bullets, man. All right, so let me see if I can find what came out here. They did not wait for backup. They did not properly light the situation. A bunch of errors in the way that the police handled it is what they allege. And he made it clear for 90 seconds or more before the deputies arrived on scene that he was unarmed and did not have a weapon. But I'm pretty sure that in the video call or the audio call that he was saying that he was going to kill his brother and that he had a gun to his head, right? So he calls 911 and he requests people come out there because he says he's going to kill his brother. He's got a gun. This is what he says. Cops show up. Probably presume that he has a gun. I guess what I don't understand is why do we keep doing this? Is this just the product of being cooped up inside for a year and everything's closed and you lose money and you lose your job? And is this the product of depression and anxiety and stress and all of these things from everything that we see every day? Is that why this is happening? I can't believe that across the country, police are just inherently bad. Like all of them are bad. That's the narrative. All police are bad. All police are going to kill you. As a black man, I feel like I'm going to be murdered every day by police. I'm terrified of police. And I understand that through the course of the media and the course of the narrative and events that happened that were highlighted last year, spotlighted especially, that you could feel that way. I also understand that in almost all of the cases, the people in question, cops just didn't roll up and just start firing at them. They didn't go out looking for a black guy to kill. I don't believe that. But like we've created an environment through social media, through constant contact, through constant input where cops are on high alert and people are on high alert and there's this huge tension. There's racial tension all last year, and no one's crying out right now. Look, we've had at least 5, 6 shootings in 2 weeks, and no one's crying out massive racism against the president. So no one's crying out. No one's even coming out here telling me Donald Trump's out here inciting racism. They're not doing it. Now it's police against black people. It's not white versus black. It's blue versus black. And I don't like the narrative because if we fall into the narrative that of this inherent racist narrative, and we look at numbers of blacks killing whites, whites killing blacks, Asians killing people, anyone. We don't even talk about Asians. Why don't we talk about Asians ever? Never talk about Asian crime being done to them doing crime. No one talks about it. I cannot recall a time seeing it on the news ever. Our news is black and white. I'm not saying that they're out there doing stuff. Don't get it twisted. Everyone commits crimes. That's the moral of the story. Every race commits crimes. I mean, there's one of everybody in jail. Believe me. But why are we out there doing this? Where I was going with that is the number of African Americans in jail for committing crimes against white people. We can even just say murders against white people should terrify white people to be around them. Now that seems ignorant because it is. That's how I feel about police versus black people. That it's also ignorant because police do interact. And also, not all police are white. Not all police involved in these incidences are white. And not only that, there was a police incident last year where they kneeled on a man's back and neck until he died, and he was a white guy. And they not only did they kneel on him until he died, they mocked him while he died. While he died, they made fun of him. They actively mocked a person on the ground until he died. And there was no uprising. There was no riots. There was no memorials. There was no bridges named after this dude. There was no gold casket. I don't get it. I don't understand. I think the answer is that we just have to be better. We just have to be better people. As a society, we need to be better. I keep saying that. Be nice to people, man. Be nice to people. And all this goes away. If a cop shows up, there's few incidents where cops were completely in the wrong. Like they just got it so wrong off the jump. I mean, there was a kid last year in the hotel room with the BB gun who was on the ground crawling backwards, and they lit him up in the freaking hotel hallway. It's crazy. On the ground, no weapon. Posed no threat to anybody. Those are that common. But one of them's enough. What I'm getting at here, man, is why is this spiking? Why do we have all this happening? And also, it's frustrating because of the political agenda that happened for 4 years, where everything blamed on Trump. And at the moment, Biden can do no wrong. The only thing Biden does wrong is he comes out and he opens his mouth, and the stock market tanks. And we're like, well, shit. But other than that, the consensus is that Biden's good and Orange Man bad. People are still dying every day. So what are we going to do about it? And I do feel like the tension is less than it was. Like the tension amongst people on social media doesn't seem to be as crazy, but clearly it's still out there. So I'm kind of curious as to how people feel about it. If I saw one of my old comedian friends, I used to go to one of his open mics, my favorite open mic, and he's a funny guy. But I saw him post a video yesterday on Instagram talking about how he was terrified to be a black man or something in the world. And I just, I don't know. I don't know him outside of the comedy world. Maybe he's an outright piece of shit and deserves to be, you know, worried. Maybe I don't say deserves. Maybe he should be worried. But I don't believe that. I believe that he's a nice guy who helps people and he's funny and he writes jokes and he makes the world a better place. And I don't think he should fear police coming to get him. I don't think he should fear that. You know? We all get caught up at the wrong place at the wrong time eventually. Sometimes. I still don't know what the answer is. But it sucks to see all this in the news. And I'm not going to be mad and go put the blame on people because I don't want to be a part of the social justice warrior movement. I don't want to tell people that are guilty. I mean, those 3 dudes in the Auburn Avery case, they're guilty as fuck. The other ones, I don't know. I don't have all the details. And we just came off of a weekend of that girl getting shot. So, and what do you do? She's gonna stab somebody. What do you do as a cop? I don't know. How about if you don't have a knife, you don't try to stab somebody, cop don't shoot your ass. Step 1. Don't have a knife and try to murder people or really harm them. That's step 1. Put the knife down. I don't know, man. I've been thinking about it though. I think about it at night mostly. I don't think about it during the day too much, but I did want to talk about it. I would like to have a guest on to talk about it. I would like to have somebody on. So if you're interested in talking about some of the social climate, you can't offend me. I might be able to offend you, but it's going to be downright impossible to offend me. I promise you. But I'd like to have a conversation from both sides of it, man. Maybe if you're maybe if you're in law enforcement or some part of that system, or maybe if you're just an average black dude that wants to talk about how you feel about it. On either end, maybe you've been out there doing some crime, and this has made you do less crime. The thought of getting shot for doing some small petty ass crime changed your mind, or maybe you're just on the straight and narrow and you're just terrified. I'd like to talk to somebody about it and have a conversation about it. So if you're interested, leave me a comment and we'll hook up and we'll get you on the show via Zoom. And it's easy, man. And we can talk about it and just maybe open some kind of narrative, because I don't get it. But that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to do some more lighthearted stuff. This one weighed on me, and I wanted to talk about it. So I did. So check out the other ones, man, for some other content. I did some stock videos, some lives that were fun, some MMA stuff that's fun. I'm going to do an MMA one right now, I think, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to pick something that's more lighthearted. We're going to do that. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.